What is the difference between dating and a relationship? Hi everyone, I'm Apollonia Ponti. I am your dating and relationship coach, founder of ApolloniaPonti.com, and I am your coach for you men to boost your attraction skills, build your confidence, and overall cultivate a healthy relationship into your lives. And this is a common question that I get, Apollonia, what is the difference between dating and relationship? When do I know that I'm going to be in a relationship with this woman? And when do I know that we're just dating? So it can be also confusing because a lot of times in the United States and America, we talk about how we're talking to someone, but we're not dating someone, right? And it's like we go to other countries and it just doesn't make sense to some people. It's either a relationship or we're dating each other. So I'm going to talk about not only what the difference is between dating and relationship, but at the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about this whole thing that we underline and give, oh, we're just talking, right? I want to really address that in this video. Now, the difference here is when you are dating, remember, you are starting to get to know someone. And a lot of us have a tendency to just jump in right away into relationships. And I always say, I have a couple metaphors that I always use. And I always talk about when you text someone in the initiation stage, when you're dating, when you're getting to know them, really, the courtship, when you're courting a woman, you text her, you call her, you plan, you set dates, you do things in moderation and you pace yourself. And you basically what I talk about is do it like a tennis match when it comes to texting, when it comes to phone calls and things like that, because you also want this woman to reciprocate as well, and you want to see that she's involved just as much as you are. But the thing here too is a lot of people like to jump into relationships, as I was alluding to before. And I think of it like this. I say it in my 7 common mistake ebook that men make when attracting a woman, which is a free ebook. So I invite you to download that. It's in the description box below. But I talk a lot about the 3-foot, diving in a 3-foot pool instead of like a 9-foot pool, right? So we just dive in 3 feet of water and expect to have a great outcome, but we don't, because we got to swim to the deep end in order to dive in successfully, right? So this means pacing yourself, taking the time. Also, like this other metaphor when it comes to dating and relationships, meaning if you got to think of it like this. A relationship is about letting you take your time. And I love this metaphor. I heard this quote somewhere. I don't remember where I heard it. It was about, think of it like this. It's like a crock pot instead of a microwave. A microwave is instant and a crock pot takes hours. It takes time, and it takes time to cook. It takes time to understand. So basically in a relationship, it takes time to understand the other person on the other side and who you're dating. So dating is when you are doing things together, when you're asking common questions. Where are you from? What do you like to do? What are your passions? What are your hobbies? And then the more that you get involved with each other, you start talking about values, relationships. What are the expectations for each other? You start building the foundation. And in this process, right, is either where you make it or you break it. Because a lot of times what happens is we have to master attraction. And mastering attraction is not a game. Mastering attraction is being grounded as an individual, man or woman, and understanding that there is a foundation that you see yourself wanting in your life, but you put yourself on a pedestal because you understand that you deserve something, but you do it in a respectable manner. And you show up for the other person just as much as you would show up for yourself, but show up for yourself more in the beginning, because this is how you acknowledge what you want and releases attachments, releases being needy or overbearing to another individual. And with that said, we have to focus when we're dating on this part. Is either we put so much expectations when we really like a woman, or if you're a woman viewer, if you really like a man, we put so much expectations in this dating process that, oh my gosh, this is going to be my girlfriend. Oh my gosh, this is going to be my boyfriend. And then a month later, all of a sudden, they're nowhere to be found. And we're like, what the heck just happened? I thought we were flowing. I thought everything was vibing. I thought things were great. Well, it's common in this day and age that this happens, and we have so many reasons of why. They could be dating someone else. They could not be wanting a relationship. They could see that things were serious and they didn't want this, or they can see that they just didn't really like you. Who knows? Sometimes we get the clarity and sometimes we don't. And the reason why I say when dating, it's so important before you get into a relationship to understand that is because this is where the frustration lies. As we build expectations for this person to end up doing what we thought in our mind would happen, right? And then we get disappointed at the end, and then we're like, all women are horrible. Oh, I'm not going to date. I'm going to give up on dating. And then we get this bad energy, overall in dating. When you got to create good energy to attract the right person. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen to you even if you have good energy. It does, but it feels less dramatic and you have less anger towards it, I should say, because you give up on expectations, because you show up for the actual reality of this person. So when you give up expectations, it shows also a boost of attraction and a boost of confidence within yourself, because either the woman on the other side can feel like, okay, I still have to impress this guy. So in the dating phase, why I'm talking about this is because it's so important for you not to have expectations of a specific outcome. Because as time goes on, that's why I also alluded to pacing yourself. You've got to pace yourself to see naturally how this progresses into a relationship. Once something happens within your relationship, what happens here is then you start to get more serious. From the dating, once you pace yourself, you let go of expectations, you showcase yourself, put yourself on a pedestal, respect each other, do new things, dating. Now we go into a relationship. What happens here? Well, what happens here is you start to get involved. You start to talk about life choices together, right? Or you might even have a conversation where you bring up and you get introduced as the girlfriend or the boyfriend, or you guys talk about, I want to be exclusive now. I want to commit to you, and you both have the same intended outcome for each other, and it's talked about. And this is where I think that either man or woman can do this in a relationship, and it all depends on how you're vibing and things like that. And a lot of men get scared to do this because they don't want to show vulnerability, but it's about how you showcase it too, right? So naturally, when you pace yourself, it's easier to showcase this as long as you're authentic, you're open, and you're completely honest with this person, and you're intentional when you start dating each other, and you're not playing these games, and you're not ignoring these red flags. So once you get here, then this is what alludes to a relationship, when you truly have the intended outcome of each other, and exclusivity can happen in a conversation. When you build your foundation together, when you have a specific time frame after 4 months of dating, you're like, okay, so what are we doing here? What would you like to do? Let's take things to the next step. And this is where the relationship comes in. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about this, I encourage you to comment below, and I'll try my best to respond to your comments. As always, give this video a thumbs up, and if this is your first time watching this channel, I invite you to subscribe, as I post videos every single day on this channel, almost every single day. As always, I'll see you again in the next video, and remember, you are always loved. Bye for now.